Natembeya is one sober governor. He is the governor of Trans Nzoia County and is also a very key core principle of the united opposition. Natembeya doesn't make public statements until he feels like there is need to make them. And when he makes them, sometimes he does not make them in the accompaniment of the united opposition core principles. Most times, he makes them alone, either addressing the Luhya people directly in Trans Nzoia and neighboring counties, or doing a direct media interview that does not include the members of the united opposition. You'd say perhaps he's doing this not to outshine the boss and the master, who is currently still Eugene Wamalwa within the DAP Kenya party, and is trying to give the DAP Kenya party leader an opportunity to work with the core principles. But when there is a mistake or something that has gone wrong within the united opposition, then trust Honorable Natembeya to come out and speak. Now, he spoke recently about this particular issue, which has been the basis of conversation in the Kenyan political scene until yesterday. Now it's died down, on the occurrences of Othaya last week, whether or not history Othaya ilikuwa choreographed ama history ilikuwa real. And of course, Natembeya is someone who has served in a senior position of administration even before joining politics. Anajua hizi staff sa zingine pia zinaweza pangwa. So he gave, pardon me for that pronoun mistake. He gave his opinion jana kuhusu history yote of what went down in Othaya, and we want to make that the basis of our analysis. Usikie tu from Natembeya, what is he saying? But Natembeya side, there is also a gentleman who is very interesting. He's called Jeremiah Kioni. Right now he's the deputy party leader of the Jubilee party. He's ascending into this position after kuserve kwa position as secretary general for quite some time, being the voice of the party. Now, since the announcement of the changes were made by the deputy party leader Okengo Matiang'I, Jeremiah haja make any public statement until yesterday. I think yesterday when he appeared before a radio to make statements that now says ikikuja kuwa the decision of who will be the flag bearer of the united opposition sahi imebaki between Kalonzo and Matiang'I. Anasema other individuals might have interest, including Rigathi Gachagua, but those interests, whether spoken or not spoken, juu anasema hadi yeye pia kuna interest ya kukuwa president, then those interests right now they do not matter much, because on that particular decision table it seems if it is not Kalonzo, it is Matiang'I, or both of them in that particular ticket. Now I want to remind you something before nianze na speech ya Jeremiah, then to come into Natembeya story. You see, Jeremiah at one point when he was the secretary general alisema if they are not given the position as the Jubilee party, then they'll go alone. So kufilter out wase na kusema this particular horse race imebaki katikati ya Kalonzo and Matiang'I means if it's given to Kalonzo, then most likely Matiang'I can still bolt out, but if it's given to Matiang'I, they will stay within. So people have said this is some of the reasons mbona Jeremiah alitolewa as the voice of the party, akaekwa as a deputy party leader, so that asichome when it comes to the political arrangements of 2027 and beyond. Now, this is the first public statement that is making in a radio station as a deputy party leader. Nataka tu to delve in, tuisikie kiasi, and then after that we make political statements before we go to the main story, which is Natembeya's reaction to whether staged or not by the police brutality or lack of it that occurred in Othaya. Let's start with Jeremiah.
It's fine. It's fine. Certainly, it is like I kept saying, we have to go through a phase of strengthening our own parties.
Right.
Because the opposition will be as strong as each individual party is. And then, of course, you remember everybody was a presidential candidate. I'm not saying anybody has dropped, but Kenyans themselves have continued dropping people by themselves.
Okay.
Kama ulikuwa unapenda naweza endelea na hiyo mapenzi, lakini si tunaona lakini mapenzi yako haijafika kiwango.
Yes.
So if you look at this game, now again other people like Ligiji did say that this time now he is running.
Yes.
No other wrong, he was supporting Kalonzo. I'm sure maybe that might be one of the reasons Kalonzo, you might not have seen him quite a bit. I'm sure he's organizing himself.
Right.
But you see, truth be told, hii mambo ni vizuri kuisema vile iko.
Yes.
Lakini wote hata sisi ambao tuko na matumaini ambao hatukutamka iko kwa roho.
Right.
Ya kuwa rais. Hii kitu sasa iko na watu wawili. Ni Kalonzo na Matiang'I. Sasa hapo ndio hiyo kitu imekwamia. Wengine wetu, we are really people who have desires.
Yes.
Kama vile Ligiji yake ameitamka ya kuwa rais, mimi yangu sikuitamka, iko kwa roho. and it is going to be that way.
Yes.
But where we are, and if you ask Kenyans themselves, wanakuambia hii kitu ni Matiang'i na Kalonzo. Of course, not because I'm coming from Matiang'i's corner.
Right.
Because Jubilee is Matiang'i's corner, but I can tell you that pale mwanzo ulikuwa unaniuliza kwa wapi, anasema hajatagaza nini, hiyo mambo yote sasa ameenda, and his name is very common.
Yes.
In the tongues of people. In a normal conversation, when you talk about the alternative, I am sure people mention him first, and others follow.
So, like I said,
no, this particular part, even before we go to Jeremiah Kioni's comment on the 500 million that was given by Uhuru Kenyatta, and that is the last part of his speech we will play. Of course, before we go back to the other side, or the other speeches of Honorable Natembeya, what does he mean akiongelelea these people that have political aspirations and they have to shelve it down right now, saying that the race is one that has been left for Kalonzo and Matiang'i? Ukikumbuka very very well that the members of the United Opposition themselves walisema they are yet to meet and make a decision on who among them will become the presidential candidate or the compromise candidate in 2027. So easy decisions sahi nani amezimake ndo ifike the level that it is Kalonzo and of course it is Matiang'i? And you can listen, the interviewer is asking, we are seeing like this is now going to individual parties right now. So who has made the final decision, or why is the decision of the two horses being suggested within the individual parties before the decision is made? Kwa sababu this thing has a political impact in it. Speaking of Kalonzo and Matiang'i right now excludes Gachagua and Martha and everyone else in this particular maths, and now put Kalonzo and Matiang'i's projection in a very high rate. What this means is that it can be a decoy while a real presidential candidate is being groomed, so that for the opposition or for the government, which is the ruling party right now, they put their focus on Kalonzo and Matiang'i, but when the announcement is made, it's a whole different other person. That's one aspect to it, a political decoy. Another aspect to it is also a political exclusion. It could be statements that are being made to tell anyone who has interest beyond these two individuals that you just keep your interest away, and this could be making room for the Jubilee's party, Honorable Okengo Matiang'i, to become the running mate of Kalonzo in 2027. Now, whether this will be a political decision that will be made to secure power for their ambit, ama itakuwa political decision itakuwa give a good negotiation room between the UDA party and whoever is fronting this particular card, remains a decision that you, our viewers, can tell us in the comment section. But what does it mean, Jeremiah sahi kusema that whatever they have going on in the table includes only Kalonzo and of course Matiang'i, and excludes every other person that might have a political interest to that particular end? Now, other than that, let us hear what now the Secretary General former and the current deputy party leader of the UDA party have to say about this contentious $500 million that was raised for the Azimio's rally and Azimio campaigns for 2022.
Sense. It is the one that has a clear way of fundraising. And Azimio, one of the key component of what was being done by the former head of state was to fundraise.
Yes.
And he's a very good fundraiser for political activities.
Yeah.
Extremely. Because there are many people who believe in him. Once people believe in you, you become a very easy person to raise funds for. Laila was also a very good fundraiser.
Okay.
Outside the two, I maybe now William, but I don't see other serious political fundraisers.
Okay.
And Uhuru did fundraise from his friends, even when he was doing his campaign 2022, 2017, 2013. I saw him get huge financial support from friends, which is something that is it's a big asset.
Yes.
And he brought that asset to Azimio. He fundraised. Other than payment of agents, you need to do more because there are many other things that require a lot of funding. But he fundraised and sent money for, among other issues, the ones for agents. So what I've seen from the media, what I saw from Junet is true. Money was sent. I think it was 600 million, not $500 million. It was 600 million that was set aside for agents, and that money was it's normally the person who is then in charge of those logistics, if it's not the campaign team, is the AG, not the SG.
Yes.
And in this particular case, we had the SG for Azimio,
right,
who was an ace, still is Mheshimiwa Junet Mohammed.
Okay.
And then also Baba needed a confidant. You know, those are issues that are given to a very close person.
Yes.
And again, Junet fitted that bill then. I don't know whether he does now that Baba is dead. And so he will continue chewing his own tongue.
Yeah.
And all those things mpaka ulimi ikwishe. Lakini yeye mwenyewe alijiletea hiyo shida. Sisi tulikuwa tunajua kuna hiyo shida.
Yeah.
Our agents were not paid across the country. Na yeye mwenyewe kwa sababu ndiye alileta. Sasa aendelee kupatiana majibu na atapatiana mingi. Jaribu kuleta huyu, achike huyu, alete ndani, achike huyu, alete ndani. Lakini mwisho ya mambo ni kwamba ilikuwa jukumu yake.
Okay.
Na hili jukumu halikutekelezwa.
Right.
Pesa zilitoka, lakini jukumu halikutekelezwa.
Okay.
Though still Baba won, he is one of the single most reasons as to why Baba struggled with his campaigns.
Okay.
Yes, Junet.
Right.
Mohammed.
And before we leave
Now you see, this game has been going on for quite some time. Here at the People's Mirror, we want to put an end to it, the blame game of who really used this particular money. Because you remember on Junet Mohammed's last interview, the question, or rather what he said, the answer was that the person that actually had this money is a person that has a middle name like Jeff Koinange. And so this is coming from Jeremiah Kioni at a time that Kioni is saying that Junet actually opened the Pandora's box. There was a problem of agents that were not paid, and that was an internal Azimio problem. But because Junet now opened the Pandora's box, all questions that surround that particular payment will be answered by him, and he says that the buck now stops. And of course it started and it ends with Junet Mohammed, leaving Junet Mohammed in the dirt yet again, and just like a good servant protecting the image of the boss. Now more on that particular Jeremiah Kioni's interview you can find, because it's a very, very interesting interview. Jeremiah is one of the politicians in Kenya that knows how to evade and how to properly answer the political questions, both casting doubts within camps and also assuring camps when need be. Now beyond that, let us take a look at this particular last story. Of course, yesterday, interview yenye ilifanywa na the good gentleman, the governor of Trans Nzoia County, Honorable Natembeya. And Honorable Natembeya kwa hii interview aliongelea vitu mingi sana, including the recent issue at Othaya. But first of course, we always start with their statements before we make a political commentary.
Yako na matatizo ya kiafya kama asthma, mtu anaweza kafa. So serikali unless kama inasema kwamba kuna watu kule JP ambao wanatembea na tear gas ambao sio maafisa wa usalama, ndio naweza kusema kwamba inaweza kuchunguza. But legally, realistically, ni kwamba wale watu ambao wanatakana kuwa na tear gas ni polisi. So serikali haiwezi kudanganya kwamba inaweza kuichunguza yenyewe. Badala ya kusema hivyo, bora tu wasiwache tu wa Kenya viongozi waendelee kujiexpress, watoe maoni yao, wajumuike na wengine, wacheze siasa vile katiba inasema, na yule ambaye Kenya wataona kwamba anatosha kuwa kiongozi wa taifa la Kenya, awe Rais Ruto ama yule mwingine ambaye atakuja atashinda, iwe hivyo, na kwetu marafiki badala ya kutumia mambo ya fujo. La pili ni kwamba wale maofisa pia ambao wanaambiwa wende wavunje sheria, wameenda kwenye training, wamesoma sheria, wamesoma katiba, wanajua wakati amri ni illegal ama ni legal. Wale ambao wanachagua kufuata amri ambazo ni illegal pia nao ni watu tu washenzi, watu wapumbavu ambao hawaelewi maana. Umeenda training, umeajiriwa, unalipa mshahara, ulienda maisha wa Kenya na mali wa Kenya. Ikiwa ndio ofisa wa polisi unabeba bunduki, unabeba risasi, unabeba tear gas, kwenda kumpiga Mkenya ambao sheria inakupatia nafasi ya kuwachunga, pia mimi naona ni kwamba pia watakuwa umeanguka kabisa. Mara nyingi wale ambao wanataka kuchukua hatamu ya uongozi sio wanataka kuwa viongozi ili wabadilishe mambo. Wanataka kuwa viongozi kwa sababu wanaona wivu, wanaona kwamba wale ambao kwenye uongozi kuna mambo ambayo wanafanya hata kinyume cha sheria na hakuna kitu kinafanyika juu yao. So wanasema kwamba tukichaguliwa tutaenda kubadilisha hili na lile, lakini wakati wanapata nafasi wanaingia kwenye ile miguu ambayo wale ambao waliwatangulia walikuwa, na wanasahau kwamba kuna wakati pia nao walikuwa wanakandamizwa na wale ambao walikuwa kwenye mamlaka. Kwa sisi tumesema wakati huu ukifika mwaka wa 2027 wale ambao tunataka kupata uongozi kidogo tujaribu kuhakikisha kwamba tunabadilisha taifa la Kenya. Jinsi tu uongozi unachezwa kuanzia kule juu. Kuna wale watu ambao wanamshauri rais kusema kwamba waje tufanye hivi, waje tufanye hivi. Na mara nyingi hao watu wako na akili potofu. Wale ambao wanataka tu kuharibu ile exercise of power, onekane kwamba wako na nguvu, sio ku exercise power kwa minajili ya kuimprove maisha ya Kenya. Mimi naamini kwamba mwaka wa 2027 utakuwa ni mwisho wa siasa ya uongo na kuwatapeli wa Kenya, na mimi naomba kwamba pia wa Kenya wakuwe na ile ujasiri wa kwanza kuita viongozi to accountability, kwamba utuambia utafanya hivi na sasa hizo unafanya mambo ambayo ni kinyume na vile ulituambia. Hiyo accountability in public service ikiwepo, utapata viongozi wanajua pana, nikitawadanganya wa Kenya utakuwa na mambo kama haya ambayo watanifanyia. Fursa inakuja 2027 wa Kenya kuhakikisha kwamba hii tabia sasa ambazo everything goes. Sasa mahali pa maombi unaenda kule na pia kila mtu, mapasta wanakimbia, maasha wanakimbia, wale wa mama kanisa wanakimbia, wale watoto misa wanakimbia, kila mtu anatimua mbio mahali pa ibada ili kwa sababu mpinzani wako wa kisiasa yuko pale. Haya mambo sisi naona kama taifa la Kenya tunaletea fedha kubwa sana hata katika international scene.
That's a very interesting take coming from the governor of Trans Nzoia County, and of course it's just about the worship space. He's saying that beyond everything, beyond politics, the worship space needs to be given room as that. And Natembeya is projecting even a picture of a future leadership that even puts into incorporation the opinions of the opposite side, saying that whatever comes out of 2027, how about we created a political space and a political platform of tolerance where an individual could come and actually talk to the people and their policies be sold to the people without any interferences. He says that the harm that goes beyond, of course, just attacking a church because our political opponent exists or is speaking within it, goes beyond the political opponent and, of course, affect the life of the individuals in that particular forum. So to what end do we have to do this particular issues and this particular side shows if we are in a democratic space? A little bit more on his particular speech as we conclude, because it's a very, very sober idea. Seems to be the idea that people adopt both in the United Opposition camp or in the government camp, in the politics camp, or even beyond politics as a way of living. If there is a contrary opinion, then why does it have to get to a level of making third parties suffer out of it? Why should we not then create just political spaces of accommodating each other? But you understand, democracy is a game of the winner take it all, and so you cannot expect a democratic space to be a space that accommodates people like that, even if that is the dream we have. Even we have seen even in international countries where, of course, democracy is thriving, like the United States of America, it's still a very big issue that they're grappling with. But it would be a very ideal situation to have a democratic space where people are given an opportunity to sell their policies.
Tulishinda viwili mpaka kule kwenye boma la speaker wa National Assembly, tulimshinda kule nyumbani. Na Wakenya ni werevu, wako na akili, wanajua ni nini kilifanyika kule Malaba. So hata wanafikiri wakati president akuja akajua nini kimefanyika kule, ile majigambo anakupia kifua kwamba alishinda, ile kuishi hapo. Na hata unaona vile alichaguliwa, hata Wakenya wajua atapotelea mbali. Maana kuna ile kura wanashinda na wanajua yeye nimeshinda kihalali, wanaenda mbele za watu na wanawashukuru na watu wanakushangilia kwa sababu walikupigia kura. Lakini zile kura ambazo wanashinda, wala ambao walipiga kura kwanza wanashangaa, nayo pia mwenye walishinda pia wanashangaa walishinda namna gani. Watu sio wajinga, wanajua kile kilifanyika. Na sisi tumesema kwamba ile mambo yote ambayo walifanya, kuleta fedha, kuleta mablangeti, kuleta vyakula na ile kutumia nguvu, excessive force. Hata mimi ile siku ya kura kule Malaba kwa mfano, mimi nilizuiliwa, wale walinzi wangu wote wakachukuliwa saa 7 ya usiku, na siku kwa maana walikuwa wanapanga vile wataiba kura. So inajulikana, wacha waite mkutano kule Malaba na mimi niite wangu, tuone mapokezi yatakuwa namna gani.
So the threat is, of course, or rather the conversation is coming as a result of course, they just concluded Malava by elections. But beyond that is the voting bloc that is the western part of the country that is a target to both the baskets in 2027. The United Opposition is looking at it as the place that will boost them other than the mountain if it is locked and solidified. They are also making attempts to tap into the Somali and the northeastern part to tap into that particular basket more. Now in the Haba na Haba ujaza Baba part of the ruling party, the Western part is also a very, very key part in the calculations of 2027. Now, Natembeya dares the members that represents the ruling party from the Western part to hold a meeting in Malava, and also he holds his. Reminds me of the Elijah days. We just don't know between now or in this particular conflict, if compared to the Elijah conflict in the mountain where water was poured and God was to be called upon, who between these particular camps will be the godly camp and which one will be the camp of Baal? Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure recapping that story for you here at the People's Mirror. Keep it the People's Mirror as we also uncover for you what is going on in the current meeting that is being attended by the United Opposition members, and when it happens, we will detail it for you as it happens here. Until our next episode.